I don't think there's any better camera for that answer, and if anyone's got one, it's probably wrong.
Hey guys, welcome to Prime Focus, the podcast where I do a deep dive into other photographers' brains. And the photographer in question today is Jamie Gregson. Hey man, how's it going?
Hello, yeah, I'm good, thank you.
I see you have a lovely little perch in front of the sofa there.
I do, yeah. I choose to sit on the floor. I don't know why.
The sofa is just for show.
Yeah, sofas are for losers.
Yeah, you tell him. I'm not on a sofa either. So tell the guys a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm Jamie. I'm a photographer based in the UK. Currently shooting mostly street stuff, but I try to use old cameras. So I tend to use old Fujifilm cameras at the minute, and just see what I can get out of them.
It's ideal. You're a man after my own heart because you also know how much I love shooting older cameras. I have one or two newer cameras, and that's one that I film on now and one that I do work on. And everything else is not any newer than like 8 years old.
Yeah. Those are the ones I like to call the project cameras.
Yeah. I mean, I've got everything right. Even my newest camera. Actually, that's a lie because I brought the X half. Not including the X half. Even my newest camera is like 4 or 5 years old, and we go all the way back to like 1954 in camera age. So
54. Wow, okay.
Plenty of differences.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I've got an R7 that I've been using as sort of more like professional.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all about the old cameras for sure.
100%. And talking about gear and old cameras, my first favorite question for everyone is: what got you into photography, and what was your first camera?
Okay, so getting into photography, I think, was always quite easy. I've always been around cameras, whether it was like video making or photography as well. Always had a keen interest. I remember my granddad always showing a lot of photos from his trips. He was in the RAF, so he always did a lot of traveling and would always show us a lot of photos of where he's been. And I was always the kid who was making silly videos with my friends, skateboarding, things like that. So I've always had cameras with me, and then all the kind of either college or university things like that I've been to have always been quite creative courses that have involved photography. So it's always been with me. And the first camera was first proper camera was a Canon 450D. That was my first DSLR, and I bought that so that I could photograph my university projects, because they always wanted you to do presentations and things. And I thought, I'll get myself a big camera and then I can photograph everything properly, make it look really, really nice. And from there, it just kind of it just sort of spun into what I'm doing now, really, which is just always have a camera with you, just shooting as much stuff as possible. And yeah, I think it's a great way of documenting life as well. I can't stress enough how important I think that is, documenting everything that you do as much as possible, because the older you get, time goes faster and faster and faster. So it's the best way for me to kind of record those moments, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I fully agree with you on that. Like I'm doing a series at the moment on my channel where I'm trying to find my like perfect everyday carry camera. And I've tried a few different things, and I am currently trialing out the X half as my everyday carry, because I don't want something that's super serious. I just want to be able to just get cool photos of me, my friends, my partner, things we do. And I literally just came back from a trip where I took two cameras. I took this to shoot like a proper POV video at a Christmas market, but then I also took the X half just for like the first Christmas market we went to, and when we went out for drinks, and it was just me and my partner. And I came back and I had like a really nice shot of her just like chilling at the bar with me that like I wouldn't have got if I'd tried to take out a big camera and I wasn't able to just like pull something out, whack the flash on, and just get that really cool like in a bar look where you've got bright flash here and it's just about cool with the background. And so yeah, I fully agree. Having something on you like all the time, and like it's one of the reasons that I love getting something when me and my partner go on holiday, because I like come back with a video and yeah, it's cool and it has photography in it and it's for the channel, but like really it's for me. Like I get to just watch back and be like, oh, remember that time we went to Portugal and this is what we did and isn't that cool? And we can see it in 20 years time, you know?
Yeah, I think as well, when you do that, it doesn't always matter what camera you use for that. that's a big
Mhm.
thing for me, is that, you've got that memory now, and like you say, if you're in a bar or if it's really dimly lit, you don't need the latest camera all singing or dancing, like super low light performance or anything like that. It doesn't matter. You could use your phone at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think now we're at a time where I never used to suggest or recommend using a phone for photography, but people who come to me and ask me now, "Oh, I'm doing this or I'm going somewhere. What kind of camera should I take?" I'll ask them what phone they've got, because most of the time now, especially with the new iPhones or even some of the new Androids as well, the cameras are really good on them,
Yeah.
especially for stuff like that.
I think I really struggle with that one because I personally don't take photos on my phone because I don't know. I don't like it. I like the tactile feeling of a camera and like that actually having a shutter button and things like that. And so I always say to someone like, if you aren't going to use a camera again and you're not really getting into it, then just shoot on your phone if you're going somewhere.
Hmm.
Here's some tips on how you can get better photos with that phone. Like just the
Yeah.
basics of stuff. But if someone's like, oh no, I do want to get a camera, I'm like, okay, I'm in my element here.
Yes.
Now I
Yeah.
can think of what I can
Yeah.
recommend
Sit
to
down. How long have you got? Let's talk.
yeah. Oh, you thought this was a quick text? No, I'm calling you for 3 hours. Okay, I need to know everything about
We're
you.
going to go through the exposure triangle. We're going to do everything.
Oh God, if I try and take someone through the exposure triangle, it's going to take ages, and I'm probably going to learn something too. I think now is maybe like the perfect time to ask you, like, as we're naturally talking about kind of the gear setups and stuff like that. Like, what is your current gear setup? Like, what do you use?
So at the moment, I've just bought this R7, which, in all honesty, I've hardly been able to use. I bought it to replace my 6D Mark II, which I used for a long, long time, and I struggle sometimes. I think maybe you've spoken about this on a previous episode, but taking too much stuff with you, if you go
Mhm.
somewhere, too much gear that you only really use a small amount of.
Yeah,
So I used to do that all the time, traveling to and from different places. I'd take the 6D Mark II, I'd take 3 or 4 different lenses, and I'd just never use any of it, or I'd carry it around all day. My back would be killing me because it would just be too much gear for the day,
mm.
which kind of then swung me on to using smaller cameras, just because then it can literally go in the pocket, it can capture what I need it to capture. And recently, I've been using my phone to film the video parts,
Mhm.
which is what I was doing on the 60, but it used to really bug me that it didn't have like image stabilization or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the shaky video used to really get to me when editing. So I switched to my phone for that reason, and just try and slim down everything. So I'm using the R7 now, going back to a bigger camera, but mirrorless,
Mhm.
because I still need something for professional work. I do a bit of videography every now and again, and that will be used for that.
Yeah.
But it will also be used for, video parts of YouTube videos and things like that.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, going down to this, which is my Fujifilm X-A1, which is what I've been using for a little while now. Absolute bargain camera, great travel camera. And I think, I talk about it all the time. I go on and on and on about this camera, and I love it. And I know it's not everybody's favorite. I know there's much newer ones with better features and things like that. But if you are looking to get into the world of Fujifilm, I don't think there's many better options, or budget-wise especially, that can get you into it, get a feel for why people really like these cameras. And the results are amazing as well. Like I said before, I will try and push this to the limit to try and get the best possible shots I can get out of it.
Yeah.
Um, and, some of them I'm really, really pleased with. And you would never know they were taken. This cost me less than £100.
Yeah, that's a
And
crazy
you
deal.
would never think that, looking at some of the pictures, I don't think.
Yeah, I remember the first time there was I think it was even maybe one of the photos that you've included in this episode that we were talking about, and I was like, "Oh, what do you use?" And you told me it was that, and I was like, "Oh, wow!" Like, okay, because I think because it's the A line is like their early doors kind of like budget line of their mirrorless cameras, and
Yeah.
so I think a lot of the time people just talk badly about them or down about them. Um,
Mm.
because there are much better Fujifilms out there, but just because there's better things doesn't make something else a bad thing.
No, no, I think that's right. There's what, 6 versions of the X100 out now, and
Yeah,
you can use the first one.
I do.
And yeah, well, you do, and
That's
you
the
can get great
X100 I have.
images out of it.
Yeah,
So I know everybody likes the hype of having the newest camera, and it's all exciting to try, and but I love looking for a bargain, looking for an old camera, and see what you can do with it. And I would like to eventually move over to Fujifilm completely, but I'm so invested in the Canon ecosystem now. It would
Mhm.
cost a lot of money to swap all my lenses over and change everything. So this is kind of my foot in the door to get into that world, I think.
Yeah, I have been genuinely thinking that exact same thought recently, but I'm like, all my lenses are Sony. I filmed this on a ZV-10. I have an A7 Mark III as my main workhorse camera. It's just like I have so many things for those cameras, and I
Hmm.
also I really, it's tough to say. I quite like my A7 III because I know that it will do what I need it to do,
You quite
and I
like it, but you don't love it.
yeah, and I quite like this ZV-10 because, like, especially for the video that comes out just before Christmas. Spoilers. I haven't taken photos on this in ages. I had it as a travel camera, then I got my X100, and I was just like, I really like taking photos with that, and I was just going with that and my Ace Pro 2 to film, and just those two things was just much easier to travel with. It was still smaller than just this camera in its cage with a 16 to 70 f4 on it. So I stopped taking photos, and I did love it a little bit more when I was shooting at this Christmas rocket recently, but I think if I could be bothered to invest the money, I would be really happy moving away from Sony
Hmm.
because they are fantastic cameras. The autofocus is incredible, but there is like no feeling using one of those cameras. It is
Really?
you don't like. I think for me, obviously everyone's different, and they are fantastic
Yeah,
cameras.
yeah.
I think it's because, and if Sony's listening to this for some reason, I'm really sorry. Please do still love me. I'll say better things in the future. Um, I think they're incredible cameras, but like I when I use my X100 or I use a film camera, you've got to like try,
Hmm.
and then you have like the X100 gives me film vibes in the fact that like I can't fire off a bunch of shots, and if I miss the option, I miss the option, and that's on me because I wasn't ready. And I think I love that process of getting a photo and
Hmm.
walking away and being like, yes, I
Yeah,
put in the work. I'm clearly the practice is coming through.
yeah,
And with these cameras, like I'm like, okay, cool. Something is going to happen now. I'll just put it in high burst mode, and
yeah.
I will
And
get it.
one of them will hit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think if I well, I probably will in the future, but if I had the money to put into it now, I do think I would move to Fuji.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It makes me a bit sad to hear that about Sony, but do you think that is just more modern cameras in general? Because everybody's got, super great autofocus now. Everybody's got low
Yeah.
light. Sony more than anybody. Because I would love to move to Sony as well. I was thinking, they've got a lot of their video, or the cameras with video capabilities are very, very good. And I
Hmm.
really like the color grading that people get out of it and that kind of workflow. Again, I stuck with Canon because that's just what I have.
Yeah.
But I was thinking for a time that maybe Sony would be a way to go. But then thinking as well, if I'm going to go Fujifilm, they've got some great video cameras as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
So
Yeah.
I don't think there's any right answer really.
No, I think I think I'll probably always keep Sony stuff for things like this and for like jobs that I'm being paid for because I know how to use them. I'll get what I need from them. I know they're not going to let me down. Um, but I think moving forward, like if I want more cameras just to like take out to do my street photography with and things like that, like it's probably not going to be my Sony's that I take with me, which is
Hmm.
very weird because that's all I used to do. Is I used to do I guess what everyone does at the beginning and just take everything.
Hmm.
And
It's hard
now,
to let go of that. It's your comfort
yeah,
blanket. You know that you've got everything that you just in case you need it, but you
yeah,
have to let go at some point.
I think it makes you a worse photographer
Mm.
because you're never in a situation where you have to overcome an adversity.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's true.
you're just like that's really far away. I'll change lenses.
Yeah.
Like oh, it's a little bit too sunny. I have an ND filter. Oh, I've just seen this car. I'll whack a CPL on. Like
Hmm.
you just need to know that like cool. I'm just going to take the things that I could need,
Yeah.
and that's for me normally is a CPL, a spare battery, a power bank,
Hmm.
and my camera. And then if I'm shooting a POV, also my POV camera.
Yeah.
And it fits into like, I have 3 different bags now. I have 4 bags. One that's like a big rucksack. I hasn't left the house in about 8 months. That's a lie. I shot a video. I did a videography gig with it because I was taking loads of stuff anyway. But just to go out and shoot, I have a KNF concept sling. I have a
Hmm.
sling, and then I have a really tiny sling, and all
Hmm.
that fits in there is a spare battery, the X100, and a very small power bank, and it will not fit anything else.
No,
And sometimes when I'm not filming a video or anything like that, that's all I'm taking.
no, I can agree. I'm a big supporter of sling bags. I can appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, part of the reason for reducing down and not taking massive camera bags full of things, using small pocket cameras, was so that I could stick it all into a sling bag and just have access to it. And another thing I like about these as well is the limitations. Like you
Mm-hmm.
say, if you take all your lenses, all your filters, and everything, you've got an answer for everything. It's not a challenge. You take something like this, and it puts limitations in front of you. And I kind of like, what results can you get out of that?
Yeah,
How's
100%.
it going to push you? That is a challenge for me, and I think that keeps it interesting, rather than just being able to, you know, answer for everything kind of thing.
Yeah. What lenses are there on there at the moment? Is that 28 or
This is
35?
yeah, this is the 27, the
Okay.
TT Artisan 27 on there,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I've had on there for a little while now. I don't really have anything else. I've got one vintage lens which I've lost the adapter for, so I do need to dig that out because I want to film with that and make a video with it. But yeah, this is using the 27 on there, which is around I
About
think maybe
40.
just yeah something like that, which is
Yeah.
fine for. I've been quite pleased with the shots because I didn't want it to be, and I don't like shooting too wide, and I don't like shooting too close. So I love a prime lens, but
Yeah.
27 on this is I've got used to that focal length now, so I can kind of see that when I'm going to shoot with it.
Hmm. That makes sense. Yeah. I I'm still trying to like settle in what my like ideal focal length is. I really like the 35 on the X100.
Hmm.
I have got coming tomorrow the adapter that makes it a 50.
Okay, yeah.
Um, because I like shooting a 52, and so I'm like, I think for me, honestly, like anywhere between 40 and 50 might be like my ideal. 35 is
Hmm.
just like a little wider than I like to shoot. I'd prefer a 40.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so I'll harp on forever about the fact that I think my ideal pocket camera will be a GR3X because I want the 40. But I'm going to put that on and go out for the weekend with it with the 50 on. It sticks the
Hmm.
camera out about this much further, which is kind of annoying. But
Yeah, yeah.
when it's just strapped around my chest and I'm just walking around, like it's not the end of the world. And when I put it back in my
No.
sling bag, I just take that off, pop it
Oh,
away,
okay, yeah.
everything's done. So
Yeah, that's the thing. The more you add on, then the less pocketable it really becomes. But
yeah,
I'm the same. I love a 50. So when I got my first 450D, I got the cheap 50 mm lens that everybody gets, the nifty 50, and I did
yeah.
a 365-day project with it
Oh,
to
nice.
really get me to figure out how to use the camera. Because when I bought it, it was a big purchase for me at the time. And I thought I've got to force myself to learn how to use this properly. So I did a 365 project, and I don't know if you've ever done one of those, but there are some days where you're loving it, and some days where you're absolutely hating it as well because you just don't know what to shoot, and you feel like you're
Yeah.
just taking the picture of the same thing every time. But it does teach you how to use the camera, so I definitely recommend doing one of that. But it made me love the 50 mm, even though 450 is a crop sensor, I think, but the 50 mm, just the feel that it had was so nice. And I love a 35 as well, but I really like a 35 on a film camera. I
Hmm.
just feel like it's got the right focal length, the right kind of the width to it, and it's just I don't know, it lends itself so much nicer to film photography, I feel.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping this 50 does what I want it to, because it just means that if I keep taking that as a travel camera, I just technically have another option, but it doesn't take a lot of room up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it'd be quite nice.
Otherwise,
Because
you'll be back to
otherwise,
packing everything, put it all in the big bag, load it
yeah,
all up, take it all with you.
I did think about change. I did think about getting rid of this camera and picking up the new V1, like the PowerShot.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a technically like a 4/3 sensor, but in a 3:2 format, or like kind of setup, with like a 1650 lens on there. It has a built-in fan. So it's been kind of tempting because, like, as a proper travel camera, that would be ideal. I'm filming and taking photos on everything on one camera, and
Yeah,
it
that would be
retracts
ideal.
down and it fits in my pocket. So
Hmm.
it's still tempting, but like, I that doesn't stream well, whereas this does, and I
Oh,
can
okay.
make any form of adjustment I want with this. Whereas that one, as soon as you're streaming, you can't change anything. It
Right.
effectively becomes a webcam. So it's what put me
Oh,
off for
okay.
now because it would. I need a camera
Well,
that will do this job still.
you never know. It may be a firmware update in the future, or something might solve
Yeah,
that for you, and then you've got your dream camera.
yeah. I mean, I'm selling a camera tomorrow, so that does mean that I've got room again because it'd be silly for me to only have 8 cameras. I can't go down from 9 to 8. I'm gonna have to fill that gap in again.
No, it'd be ridiculous.
It'd be unhinged. Oh, so I think a question that I've asked like a couple of people, and I'd be really interested to get your answer is for you when you're out, you're taking photos, or when you're just looking through other people's work, like what makes like a good photograph for you? Like
I like
when
the
you
air
see something, you're
quotes
like,
there. Good.
yeah, because it's such a subjective and broad term, right? It's
It
like
is. It is.
we'll probably agree on some stuff, but other stuff, well, you might be like, I love this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the worst. And that's fine. So that's why I always good because it's
Okay.
so broad.
Yeah. Let me put my thoughts out then. I feel if I'm looking through somebody else's work, for me it is. I think probably and my own. I guess it comes down to composition first. I
Hmm.
think if it is really pleasing to look at, and then it's kind of asking questions about why is that? Is it the light? Is that there colors, really good color matching on things, or is there a particular subject in there that you're looking at that you starts to beg questions? I think when I'm walking around, and if just in a street scenario, so say you're walking down somewhere and you find something that you want to photograph. For me, I think it is first of all it's the light on it. So if the
Hmm.
lighting looks spot on, then yeah, absolutely get a shot of that. And then after that, I guess it becomes about the composition and how you're going to make it look the best as possible. I think they're probably pretty basic things to mention on there, but it is what it comes down to. If the lighting's pretty, I'm going to take a picture of it, and then I want to make it look its best. And I think there are things that can add on to that, like I think in a couple of pictures where I didn't mention them or haven't submitted them, but there's somewhere there will be the same sort of tone of color or the same tone of like blue or something dotted around in that image, and that can help tie it together as well.
Hmm.
Um, but I that's what I think.
No, that makes sense. I think I'm similar as well. Like when there's a good patch of light, I'm kind of instantly pulled into that. Um, especially I think especially when you're out in like shooting street, like you can like stand at a patch of light for like 25, 30 minutes and just
Yeah.
get entirely different photos depending on what the subject in that light is.
Hmm.
And it also lends itself really well to color, but like also to black and white photography, just having that
Hmm.
strong beam of light. So yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Hmm.
Um,
I can't say that I know that people will stand around in the same spot for a little while just to wait for something to happen. I very rarely do that, mostly because if I'm out with people, we're on the move, we're going somewhere, and nobody wants to stand around and wait for me for half an hour to move on to the next spot.
yeah.
But I will say that as well, like details and textures really stand out for me as well.
Hmm.
I like to take a lot of pictures of graffiti or things that have been sticker bombed, and things like that tend to catch my attention as well.
That makes sense for when we talk about your images in a little bit, especially with the very first one. That's a little tease. When you're out, because I feel like my thoughts on this change quite a lot. But when you're out, like, do you have like a specific subject you're looking for, or like do you have a preferred subject? I know we both like shooting cars, so that's
Yeah.
fine. But like, because I found recently that like I used to have to have a person in the frame. Like other than
Okay.
for car photography, I used to have to have a person because I slowly started to figure out the one thing I really like look for in photography is like a Paige said in her episode a couple of episodes back, like the still in the storm. So like a person having like a really nice or relaxed kind of on their own or just two people moment in an otherwise like busy environment, it's just really catching to me. Like I always
Hmm.
want to shoot that. But recently I've also found that like I will now shoot like abstract objects if they're in good
Hmm.
lighting. And so I'm just interested to see kind of like what you're looking for, like whether you're the same.
Uh, People definitely. I won't always shoot people, or photograph them, shall I say? It's
Yeah, that just before the police come storming through the door. Yeah.
um, mostly because I think what I'm looking for is it's not always to do with people. I know I have got some interesting shots with people in already, but it won't be what I'm seeking out actively. It's mostly just like a pocket or a moment or something, just something that is happening, something that's caught my attention, and it's just that small area or that small thing. Um, for people, I think it's hard as well because when you mention to people that you do street photography, I think that can mean a million different things for different people. And there is a very old school version of street photography or very traditional uh, way of street photography, which I don't think I do. I think I do something slightly different. I call it street. I don't know if it is or not. But people will take photos of people walking down the street in their face, flash on things, and
Yeah.
results of that look amazing. But I don't feel comfortable doing that. I couldn't do that.
No.
Maybe with a bit of practice, I could do, but also they're not the kind of photos that I'm trying to get. Um, I love that style for people in the 70s or 80s shooting like New York streets and things like that. You
Hmm.
get a real taste of what life was like back then, and I think for that kind of project, that's great. But that's not necessarily what I'm trying to do. You mentioned cars. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a massive interest in cars, and previous to doing focusing so much on street photography, I did a lot of modified car photography, going to shows up and down the country,
Hmm.
and that's kind of where I really learnt to um, get better at composition and things like that, and also working in tight spaces. You go to a car show, you've got people constantly walking around in front of you, and you've got only a quick moment to
Yeah.
take your shot. Um, but I spot something out in the wild, and it catches my attention. And I think almost it's a little bit more rewarding to catch something like that as well. You go to a car show, there's going to be cars everywhere. You go to into London as an example, and you find something there. It feels like a gem because
Yeah.
might not be there tomorrow. But we've both been and shot the Barbican, and what I like about that is it is such a popular location, but everybody gets different styles of photos from it.
Hmm.
Everybody's got different shots, and I think that is just down to your own eye.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think we've spoken before about like heading out into London and taking the photos together. I think like the perfect like photo walk for us would be get off, go to the Barbican, like warm up in the Barbican, and then like head over to like the Mayfair area, pop a
Yeah.
CPL on, and just
Oh yeah.
shoot loads of cars. Like we're gonna have to make that happen, okay?
Yeah.
That I think that'd be the perfect photo walk.
Oh yeah. I'm already down for that. That sounds right up my street. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, I mean, it feels like now is the perfect time for us to have a look at your photos because I'm looking at the first one currently,
Yeah.
and we've made too many references to cars and graffitis for graffitis. Yeah, I'll leave that for us to not kind of crack on with that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
without further ado, tell me about this first image.
Okay, so this is, if you're not familiar with cars, it is a Porsche. So this was taken at a car event in London, and this was one of the first car events that I've been to in such a long time because I used to do them all the time. I got a little bit bored of seeing the same stuff all the time, and maybe sort of my old age as well, just getting wanting to do something different. And I learnt about this. It was called Venga Forever, and it's basically a street takeover in an area of London where the just invite is very, very quick, very short notice. People come, take over the street for a little while, and then everybody goes off and does their own thing. So it happened to be on a random Sunday in London. I was available. I jumped on a train, went straight there, got there nice and early, got as many photos as I could. I made a video as well, and then left and went home like straight afterwards, basically. So it was a very, very quick flying trip, but for me, it was an opportunity to use something like this that I would never take to a car show previously. So it was an experiment in a way to see, what's the best that I can get given my previous experience in shooting cars. What can I get if I only take something like this?
Yeah.
And some of them, not all of them were fantastic. Like, but this particular shot is, I just love. I love the graffiti. I love the car that's in it. I love the location. That's in front of somebody's shop, I think. And they're all kind of these big archways all the way down this road. It's along an under or an overpass for the underground or overground.
Hmm.
And as well with that one, I really liked the matching of the paint. The color of the paint matches some of the graffiti behind it as well.
It
And I
does,
don't know if
yeah.
they parked there on purpose for that, but when I saw that, I was like, that's got to be the one. And I think that's probably one of my best shots of the day. There were so many interesting cars that day. There were low riders, a lot of really cool like Japanese import cars, and there were people there who obviously weren't expecting their street to be completely taken over. So there were a lot of really good opportunities to get people's reactions to the cars, like locals walking their dogs and stuff. And I think I got a couple of those in my video, but it didn't. It's totally different to actually being there and seeing it. It was a really good event, and I don't know if they're going to keep doing it because obviously first thing in the morning the street is blocked. London traffic's already awful, but the police turn up straight away,
Yeah.
looking for who's organised everything. So you never really know how long those things are going to keep going for. So
Yeah.
I was really pleased to have got it done and been to it. Whether or not there's another one or not, I don't know. But that photo for me kind of is a really good one to express how the whole day was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I remember. I think when I first messaged you about this, like, God, it must have been early this year or late last year. I think maybe like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
we spoke about it. I think one of the first things I said to you was, I love that the graffiti is the same color as the car.
yeah, yeah,
And I also love that it's like perfectly in that archway. Like if you
yeah,
were taken, if the wind had blown too hard and you'd moved very slightly to the left, it would have been ruined. Like it would
yeah.
have been a good photo, but it wouldn't have been a great photo.
It would have forever
Um,
bugged me that it was slightly off center for sure.
yeah. I also love. It's hard to describe, but I kind of spoke about it in a previous episode. I love when you look at an image and it isn't instantly obvious, like the time frame it was took in.
Hmm.
So, like, obviously, there's a couple of little giveaways, like the ADT alarm on the wall. But
Yeah,
like when you first look at this, because of the age of the car and because of just the fact that it's in front of a black wall with some shutters, you can't instantly put your finger on when it was taken.
no,
Like I think outside of the metal shutters coming down, kind of giving it like a newer-ish kind of feel, there's
yeah.
still a good wide range of years when this photo could have come from. And I
Yeah,
love that about a photo.
that's never something that I'd actually thought about, but no, that's a really nice way to look at it. It makes me wish that I got rid of that alarm on there now, but it's it's going to bug me. That's all I can see. But no, that's a really cool way to look at it for sure. I like that. Yeah, I agree. It could have been whatever time, and that's the nice thing about classic cars as well. They do kind of make you feel like that a little bit, kind of nostalgic and a bit
Yeah.
different thinking. I tend to post really delayed as well. So obviously this was at the start of the year,
Yeah.
but my videos and all of my posts that I make on Instagram are all so far behind because I just like to keep a backlog. So it means I will forget when I took this, but it was at some point this year.
You mentioning like, oh, you hadn't thought about it like that before. I had a similar conversation in a previous episode with Eric. Like, I pointed out some stuff in a photo that he took. It's a fantastic image. It's a black and white image where someone is writing a profanity on one half of the wall, and the other half of the wall is completely white. But the way it's taken, like you can't tell whether the guy is painting over the swear words or is putting on the swear words, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool.
But one of my favorite things about it is I literally said to him, like, isn't it cool that the white paint like roller is on the side of the image where the wall is black, and the black paint roller is on the side of the image where the wall is white? I was
Yeah,
like, it just kind of like helps to tie everything together, and it goes right the way down to the spray paint can. It's white and black, and the black is on the white side and the white's on the black side. Like, I just love how that like really ties the image together. And he looked at me and he was like, I've never noticed any of those things, and now I love the image even more. I was like, this is one of my favorite things about doing this is that you get to talk through images with people and give
Yeah.
them your view. And often people are like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that."
No, it's nice. It's, you're obviously a very observant person, but it is nice. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that image that, from what I remember as well, it was like bin day or something as well. So it took a while to try and figure out, like, should I move these bins out of the way or should I keep them in? But you don't really want to mess around with things too much, or change them if you can't, or if you don't
Yeah,
need to. Um, but yeah, I really like that. That's a cool detail.
it's a fantastic photo. I love it. I love everything about it.
Sorry, I'm looking at it on my phone.
It's okay. Yeah, you'll also see me do this, and that's because it's directly to the right of you. So I'm looking at you now, looking at it. Okay, let's go on to the second image. A man who I'm going to assume has an affiliation to Ohio, having a nap on a bench.
Yeah.
Where was this taken? Tell me about it.
So if you were to guess where that was taken, would you know where
it
that was
it's
taken or what?
it's giving me vibes of like being on a pier somewhere.
Okay.
Just like the flooring and the way the benches are like bolted down. It
Yeah.
gives me the vibe of like somewhere maybe by a seaside on a pier.
All right. You're not a million miles off. So this was taken on the ferry going from England to
I
France.
I nearly okay. This is going to drive me so insane. I nearly said it also looks like a ferry, and
Yeah.
the only reason I didn't is because I was just like, the way that it's like just the kind of benches like they give me more pier vibes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the only reason I said that is because literally earlier this year I got a ferry from Southampton or Portsmouth over to the Isle of Wight, and the way that like everything's like bolted down and the weird kind of patterning on the floor just
Hmm.
reminds me of that ferry. And
Yeah.
I was just like, nah, I'm sure it's just on a pier. Nah, nah.
I'll give you that. That's fine. Yeah. So this was taken on a ferry crossing from England over to France, and this was actually taken on my Fujifilm X10,
Mhm.
which is part of the same project I'm doing with old Fuji cameras, but that was the first Fujifilm camera that I bought. And the only real difference is instead of it being interchangeable lenses, it's one fixed lens on there, which is actually goes from I
It
can't
just
remember exactly. It's been so long.
112, doesn't it? It's a weird long length. It's like 28
Yeah,
to 112, I think.
something like that. Yeah, I mean, I totally forgot. It's been so long since I used it, but it's a really good sort of all rounder. And I took it with me everywhere. And this is on one of our trips over to the Netherlands, and I'd got a load of photos. In fact, I did a video on this with my 6D. So there's a really nice video to go along with this image. Um, and I think for me, this ferry is long. It takes about 7 or 8 hours. It takes a long time to get over.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it doesn't go to France. Did it go? It goes straight to Netherlands. So yeah, it's a long ferry. And when you've got all that time to kill,
You have a
it's
nap
not
on a
really
white bench.
yeah. This guy chooses to sleep. I choose to go around taking photos and make a
Yeah.
video. And one thing I really like to do is just to kind of try and photograph quite mundane things and try to make
Mhm.
them look a bit more interesting, or just to see,
Yeah.
what's the best you can get out of it. And when I saw this guy sleeping, so there's a lot of people there's people on there drinking, there's people on there just sitting outside. It's not particularly calm outside. It's windy. Um, and this guy was just having a nap on the bench. He had his hat covering over his face, and I just spotted it out of the corner of my eye. I was walking past him, and I spotted it out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, "That's a great picture. I've got to get that." And I could have taken it many different ways. I could have got it many different angles, and I'm thinking now maybe I probably should have taken it without the bench in the top left next to it, just to make it a bit cleaner. But at the
Wait,
time,
I really
going,
like that it's there.
yeah,
I really
I don't
like
know.
that it's there. I like you keep. I'll talk after you. You tell me more about the
the
image.
the minimalist in me is saying it would be nicer if it wasn't there. But I didn't. Going back to saying, I don't like getting the camera in front of people's faces and letting them know. I don't like them. I'm a very candid photographer. I don't like people knowing that I'm there. I've done a couple of weddings before, and I'm not the kind of person to get, posy photos that everyone get together, look at the camera kind of thing. I like to get the moments where people don't know that you're there necessarily.
Yeah.
And that was with this. It was very, very quick because I was like, I don't know if he's asleep or not. I don't know how long he's been there for. The last thing he's going to want to do is sort of move the cap away from his face and see me with a camera in front of him. I
Yeah.
don't think that'll go down too well. So I just took this really, really quick photo, and I think it was probably one of my favourite from the trip over there. I got a bunch of pictures of just different parts of that ferry because, like you say, you're on there for 8 hours. You've got to amuse yourself somehow, and that's how I chose to do it. But yeah, I was super pleased with that, and from an ancient camera as well. It just goes to show it's kind of right place, right time more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, before I even no, I'm going to touch on the image first, otherwise I'm going to forget what I was going to say. But I do want to talk about the X10 as well, because I have questions, because I've always been interested in that camera and kind of want to add it to my lineup. It doesn't really have a place in my lineup, but I just kind of want it.
You can find
But
one.
yeah, I will find a place. Yeah. But yeah, image wise, like, start on the bench at the top that you said you kind of wish wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about it is it does that thing where you can tell there's a bag, you can tell there's a person, but you can't see them, and it gives that
Okay.
like kind of like, well, if there's a guy sleeping on this bench, like what is going on that other bench? I can see there's someone's bags. There has
Yeah.
to be someone there. But also, because you don't know it's on a ferry, it could be anything and anyone anywhere. But it
Mm-hmm.
just gives that extra hint of like there's life going on around this one sleeping person, rather
Yeah.
than just there's a guy asleep on a bench and he could be in the middle of nowhere on his own. Like,
Yeah.
there's someone with him.
I guess it adds a bit
Um,
more into the environment, doesn't it? Maybe.
yeah, and I know where you're coming from, because if I had taken it, I would have probably cropped it out myself, because I'd have been like, oh, that wasn't my subject. But like, I'm learning the more I'm doing these, which is kind of the whole point I'm doing them. I pretend it's for the channel. Really, it's for me to be a better photographer. Um,
So
I'm learning more
selfish
that
of you.
it's like, yeah, I know, how dare I? I'm just having a chat with friends and just putting it on the internet. Yeah, I'm learning more and more that like, actually, like, it doesn't have to be like clean. A little bit of like mess in an image can work, and something that you would normally remove actually
Hmm.
being there can work
Hmm.
quite well. And I think the flaw is what really makes the image,
Yeah.
because if you had just a blue floor, everything would be, it'd be a nice image, but it would be a kind of like a plain color with a white color, and then like the only pops of color you'd get is the guy and like around his neck and his t-shirt and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But having that like really strong patterned floor like makes the benches stand out so much more, because they are just plain white,
Yeah.
and they act as this nice divider between the solid like blue patterned floor and those just like little touches of like yellows and oranges like on the guy, and
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no overlap of that. And I just think that works out. I just think those things make it just a great image.
Thank you. Yeah, it's as well. The textures in the floor as well. You mentioned earlier. Abstract things. You could, if there was some really nice lighting straight onto this flooring, a really nice dead shot straight down into that texture with the lighting on it would be really nice as well, because there's quite a lot of detail in there actually for such an old camera. You can zoom in and you can see that. It's a very interesting. If you just sort of zoomed in on just that and said to people, "What do you think that is?"
Yeah.
It would be quite tricky, I think, unless you're on a ferry every week. But otherwise, I don't know. But no, I was really pleased with that. It felt like I don't think I take a lot of amazing photos, and I'm not saying this one's amazing, but it definitely stood out for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a great image. I think before we look at the third one, I do want to touch on like, what was your experience with the X10? Because there's one thing that kind of put me off. It's just an optical viewfinder, right? And not like the X100s where it's a hybrid. Are there frame lines on it? I
I mean,
don't think there are, and that's the only thing that's put me off.
I don't think there are, but also it's not accurate. So it's just straight pass through. You're not looking
Yeah,
through the lens. You're just
yeah,
looking
yeah,
straight through a piece of glass. So I never really used to use it. I just used to use the screen on the back, which
yeah,
again, with its age, it would never really show you best quality image. So you'd take the
Yeah.
picture, or you'd look at it going, oh God, I hope this is going to look all right. And then
Yeah.
when you actually got the picture off the camera and, edit it, it would always look 10 times better than it did on the back of the camera. So once you get used to that, it starts to give you a bit more faith in the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I loved it, and I do every now and again want to either keep going back to it or get one of the next ones up.
Mhm.
So in my drawer at work, I started a new job in January this year, and the desk I was sat at still had the previous person's things in all the drawers and everything. And I opened the drawer, top drawer to my left, and there was a camera case, like a leather camera case, and I opened it up, and there was an X20 in there, and I was like, oh, okay. So it's like maybe I could try and use that, or like have a go with that. And I've put a memory card in it and played around with it, and it's okay. But it's I'm not ready to kind of test it out properly yet. But the X10, for me, it was the amount of questions it brought from other people like yourself. People want to know
Mm.
what's it like. And I don't know why people have so many questions about it, or whether it was because I'd never heard of it before. I was just looking for the cheapest Fujifilm camera I could get. I just wanted something quick, a point and shoot, something that was small, something that I could take everywhere with me, and that I didn't have to worry about changing lenses, or just something that I could test out without costing a lot of money. And I
Yeah.
got mine off of MPB for 180 quid or something, and this was a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Um, I think I might have mentioned it in a previous video or shown a screenshot or something, but I don't know what they go for now. Over £200 now, which I know is only 20 quid difference, but between £200-300 I think they can go
Yeah.
for now.
They're pretty close to, or if not over 300 now.
Are they? Okay, so I
Mm.
don't know, for whatever reason they're still quite sought after for their age. Um, and you can get the newer ones. They do probably cost a bit more, but I would say if you haven't got one, and there is an opportunity to buy one for under £300, then
Yeah.
do it, because they are great little cameras to run around with. I don't feel like I used it for long enough, but I got some really good pictures out of it. Like the one that we just looked at.
Yeah.
It's capable. It's perfectly capable. Not necessarily in low light, and I wouldn't use the video mode on it at all. I wouldn't go anywhere
Yeah.
near it. But it's for a little travel camera that that has all the different focal lengths built in. It's great.
Yeah. That's, I think, like, when you say about like the image on the back, one of the things I love about older cameras is that reminds me of shooting film too, because you almost take the photo and then do not have a clue what it looks like.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
even so much on my X100, it's a good enough screen that I can, see what I'm doing.
Hmm.
But it's still, you put the image onto phone or laptop or anything, and you're like, wow, that's actually so much better than I thought it was.
Hmm.
And I used to love shooting with I had the old Canon PowerShot G9.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd take a photo on that, look at it, and you'd be like, not a clue. That looks like about 7 blurry pixels. I have no idea whether I got that or not. But like, one of the things I think, one of the only things that puts me off of the X10 is I love a viewfinder. Like,
Hmm.
I love shooting through a viewfinder.
Hmm.
And what put me off the X100 for a while is I thought it was just an OVS with but with just like the frame lines. And I don't
Yeah,
mind that, and I would have got used to shooting like that. But obviously it's hybrid. And so
yeah,
I can shoot with the EVF and look through and look straight through the lens. And I love taking a photo up here. Like, I
yeah,
love it. I don't
yeah,
mind shooting from the hip, and I do it quite a lot. And obviously, I do it a lot for when I'm shooting videos and stuff like that, because otherwise
yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
very boring just seeing me bring a camera to my face and down again. But yeah, there's something lovely about just looking through a viewfinder. And so
Yeah.
I'm really sad that the X10 and X20 look the way they do,
Hmm.
but then the X30 has what I want on it, but it doesn't look like either of the other two.
No, I know. They look totally different. And I'm with you. I I think what happened was when I bought that camera and I realized the viewfinder was the way it was, I think I was a little bit sad, because I was like, oh no, that's why. Because I don't know if you do the same thing. I'm a little bit nerdy when it comes to looking and researching cameras, and I will build a spreadsheet. I will build a spreadsheet of which cameras I want, what features it has, and how much is it. And I think I must have just found this camera for the price that it was and gone, I'm just going to get it, and totally
Yeah,
forgotten about everything. And of course,
yeah,
you're never
yeah,
really going to get everything. There's going to be a compromise, and that's fine. And I don't really like using the screen to shoot. And in all honesty, the R7 that I just got is my first camera with an electric viewfinder, and it is a game changer. I've never used a camera like that before, and I know I'm really late to the game, but it's like I wouldn't go back from that. It's so good. And like you say, there's something about actually holding it to your face to shoot is a great way to use the camera. But I think if you have a camera without that option and you just have to do it that way, you just have to get used to it. Really, it's not the end of the world. And I think if you're going to go in and edit the image afterwards anyway and do little bits to it, I don't think it makes too much difference.
No, no, I agree. I agree. When you say about the price, like it's one of the reasons I got my X100 is because then even the originals, they're still now like around 500 to 550 pounds still, which is
Yeah, they
insane.
hold their value.
They really do. And I saw one listed at 320, and I was just like, "What's wrong with it?" Jumped
Yeah.
on, and it literally has a single piece of dust that you can see when you shoot narrower than f11. So
Okay.
11 and 16, like those two main aperture stops on the front, you can
Yeah.
see a tiny bit of one speck of dust.
Are you
But I
using that very
never,
often?
I don't think I've done that once.
No.
That's a lie. I did it once to test how big the dust spot was,
Okay.
and then yeah, normally I'm sitting between like 4 and 8, unless it's like lower light or I want like a really nice background. Then
Yeah.
I'll just drop down to 2 or
So it's not
2.8.
made a difference for you.
No, all it did was make a difference in my wallet and how little I had to spend.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
really good.
can't
Where
complain
where did
about
you
that.
find it?
MPB.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I reckon I'm paying someone's wage at that place. Literally,
Probably. Yeah.
the teleconverter lens that's coming for that camera tomorrow is from MPB.
Yeah.
I nearly brought the very cheapest one, but it was nothing wrong with it except for on the very outer edge there was a tiny dent, so it was like flat on one bit, and that wouldn't have stopped it working, and it wouldn't have caused a problem, but it would have driven me insane
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at it, being like perfect, 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 dent, perfect.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to spend £79. I'm going to have to spend 114 because
Yeah.
I'm an
Gonna
idiot.
have to. Yeah. No, MPP, they are very good. I've bought a few cameras from them. The XA1 that was Facebook, which can be a bit of a minefield. But if you can get yourself a bargain off there, then I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally where I'm selling that other camera. I'm selling a little Ricoh, like the GX100.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Great little camera. Did a video with it, loved it. And I had it as my everyday carry for a little while because it has a built-in flash, and I bought the additional viewfinder, and like it's great.
hmm
But I then picked up the X half, and I prefer it as an
Okay.
everyday.
I am looking forward to seeing your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, don't worry. There'll be a video that I will be probably filming in the next couple of months because I've shot probably about 200 photos on there currently.
Okay.
I am going out this weekend to just take it out for a walk and like shoot a few more photos. And I want to make sure I've like really lived with it for a few months before I talk about it to the internet. But
Yeah, yeah.
for me, I currently understand why the camera was made and who it's for now.
Okay.
I got it I got it way cheaper. It's normally basically £700 in the UK.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I got
hefty.
it I got it for 490,
Okay.
brand new as well,
Yeah.
because Black Friday took it down to 550 something, and then the very last minute I got a 10% off Cyber Monday deal, and so it took it down to like 494, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
yes, I will get it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's
I
never going
do
to be that
not
cheap
mind
again.
spending that. And it's like the best thing I've ever done. But I won't talk about that now because secretive until the real video. Instead, we're going to look at your third photo.
Okay.
So this one, I'm not. I was about to say a thing, but I'm going to keep that in my head until we've spoken. Tell me
Okay.
about this doorway around a lot of plants. Plants that I know you like because of the wonderful background wall behind you.
Everything, yeah. So we are a plant family, and this, if you hadn't guessed, I'm just trying to find this one on my phone. This was taken at Cambridge Botanical Gardens.
Mhm.
I've mentioned in my videos and my posts before that we love a botanical garden. I feel like they are such good places just to go and test out cameras. and just sort of see what they can do. I
Yeah.
think this one was with the XA1. I'm just trying to dig it out now. And the reason I use this image is it's kind of it's quite tricky for me to explain. Hopefully, you understand. It's composition for me and the lighting. So this is an outdoor area of the botanical gardens leading into the indoor, and I don't know if you've ever been to them in Cambridge, but it's such an old building, and there's really cool textures everywhere. All the doors are old school wood, and because of the humidity they've had to keep for the plants, everything's starting to go a little bit sort of not rotten, but it's starting to wear.
Yeah.
So there's a really nice brown texture on that door. They've left the door open because this must have been in summer sometime. But for me, the composition of this, and I think I was just surprised at the depth. Oh, this was taken with the X10. It was the X10.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Wow.
um, so I think it was just the surprising amount of depth that I got from it. So obviously the door is in the distance, and you've got some leaves towards you, and it was
Hmm.
just, I don't know what it was about it. It's just got that nice composition and the lighting on the door to kind of highlight that area at the back, and then the reflection of the sky in the glass above as well. Um, and it could have done with maybe someone walking through the doorway or walking past or something, just to kind of suggest that it wasn't a completely derelict building or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could have sent you 10 different photos from botanical gardens, and for some reason I chose this one. But it was, again, just an example of what the X10 can do.
Yeah.
I even forgot what camera it was, but yeah, I think, is that a good enough reason? I just like that picture.
That last sentence is why it's a good photo. I've said this a million times, and I'll say it every episode if I have to. I ask for people's favorites, not their bests, for that exact reason.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
people have a story behind it, or they just really love an image and they just want the world to see it. And I would much rather those two than someone be like, "Well, this is a really clinically clean photo that I did at a photo shoot." And it's like, yeah, okay, maybe
Yeah,
your
yeah.
best work, but it's boring.
Yeah,
Like, don't
yeah.
show me that.
I'm not trying to prove anything with this image other than I used a maybe 15-year-old camera, and
Hmm.
it's a picture that I look at quite often. We've got a little Google Home display thing in the kitchen, and we've got photos that come up from all different times that we just chuck in there as like a little like a moving photo frame kind of thing. And this
Yeah,
comes up all the time, and every time I look at it I go, that yeah, that's a nice image, and it's one of our favorite places to go to as well. We're only about an hour away from Cambridge, so any opportunity we can, we'll go and see that.
yeah.
So
I mean,
the light in front of me just switched off, so I'm in darkness now.
it's okay. I can still see you. You're still there. Yeah, I like the image too. I'm going to tell you why I like it. One, I think images where there's only a couple of colors make really good images.
Hmm.
When there's just a couple of colors to like kind of pull you through, and you're not looking everywhere being like, oh, there's a lot of red there and blue there and green there. Like, I think that makes a really good image. And this entire image is shades of green and brown, and that's
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
so you're not focusing on all these crazy different colors. You're able to focus more on like the textures of the image.
Hmm.
And I also I love that. I love that there is that little bit of foreground, so you do get that depth. You kind of get like that middle depth as well, because you've got foreground, and then you can see like the branches on the right in front of the door are obviously a bit further back, and then you've got the door itself.
Hmm.
I love that the pathway almost acts as like a leading line towards
Yeah,
that
yeah.
open door. And I also love that the way that the plants go up and over, they're almost like perfectly like oval and encapsulating the door as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
I agree. I think a person would be cool, but if it was if I was shooting here and I wanted to like get the perfect image for me, I think framing wise is ideal. Like, I think
Yeah, yeah,
the place you shot it from is like perfect.
yeah.
I wouldn't want a I wouldn't want a shot where it was just a person in the frame. I'd
Hmm.
want to slow my shutter speed down and have like the
Yeah.
blur of a person
Just a
going through the door.
suggestion. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think if there was I think it's a fantastic shot, and if you were to add anything to it or could have added anything to it, I think like the slight suggestion or blur of a person in that door frame going like from left to right or right to left
Hmm.
or whatever, but encased in there would
Hmm.
be ideal. I think
Hmm.
that's the only thing that I would have hoped I could have got.
Well, I will have to go back and I'll have to try and get that one because now I can't stop thinking about it.
Just send your partner through there, and then you just it's blur. You like, I don't even know who that person was. That's crazy. They'll never know.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll never know.
It's a really cool spot, and there are so many different rooms and things in that garden. And this small outdoor section where I'm standing to take that, there's a wall behind you, so you can't go any further back. It's literally
Oh,
just like
okay.
this really small courtyard. And I think I must have taken a picture of what my back is to on that, and then turned around and seen that and gone, "There's another shot here." Which always, reminds you should always turn around or look up or whatever it is they say.
Look up, look down, look everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Really work a scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a great image. I love it. This is what I was saying earlier. Like, sometimes you don't need your traditional subject for a photo. The subject in this, for me, is the light on the top corner of the door frame.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it really
And
kind of tells you where to look, doesn't it, I think?
yeah, you get the leading line to the door, and then one door being open with all the darkness behind it as well. If a light had been on in there, I think
Yeah.
this image would have been ruined. You wouldn't
Yeah,
have
and I
had the
think as well,
reflections you get as well. And
if the lighting outside wasn't, as if it was a gloomy day, it wouldn't be the same at all.
no,
It's all about, that light is hitting the right place at the right time there.
it is very much that you could have got to that 10 minutes later or 10 minutes earlier and
Yeah,
missed that.
yeah.
So
And I'm sure I
congratulations on your
have.
timing.
Thank you.
3 great images, sir. 3 great
Thank
images.
you. It was hard to choose. I have a lot of photos that I like talking about and showing people, so it was a tough call.
Everyone complains to me that I ask them to pick 3 images. I'll
Yeah.
never stop and I'll never apologize. But I do understand. I
Yeah,
do
no, I get
understand
it.
that it's a
Somebody
pain.
needs to ask you to pick three. Somebody needs to get you to show your three as well.
Oh
That would only
God,
be
no!
fair.
If that's what's happening, I'm shutting this podcast down now. Can't be having this backfire on me.
It's not about me, it's about you guys.
Yeah, it's about me learning from other people. Okay, that's why this exists. Um, Moving on from work you've done in the past, is there anything that you're kind of working on at the moment? Like, it doesn't have to be like a big project or anything, but is there like a thing you're kind of working towards or trying to learn or anything like that?
Um, I mean, project. Yeah, I do like a project. I think. I think a lot of people know that. Um, I'm still using the old cameras. I still don't really feel like I'm ready to move on from this little guy yet.
Hmm.
Maybe a different lens. And I've got a couple of ideas lined up for that. Mostly, I'm trying to make more YouTube videos. In all honesty, this year for me was my goal was to make one a month, and I think I started that a couple of months into the year, so I did miss a couple. And I think since I wanted to do that, I only missed one month, and I might miss this month as well. But I'm not taking it too seriously. I'm doing it
Hmm.
for me. So the next one that I'm putting up will be where are we? The trip over. So we went to the Netherlands and we stopped off in France on the way home. So there's kind of like a three-part video, and I'll either do it in three separates or I'm going to do it as one longer one because we've spoken about this. I'm trying to make my videos longer, but I'm also trying to make them worth watching as well.
Hmm.
I think there's a fine line between just making a really long video full of guff and B-roll
Yeah.
and something that is actually going to provide value for people and something that they're
Hmm.
going to want to watch and keep coming back to watch. The one that I just put up most recently with the Porsche of that event, there was a whole narrative to go along with that where I was talking about, like we touched on earlier, where I used to take big cameras and multiple lenses to things and only use one or two. In fact, I wrote a blog post that basically said all of this, and just used this instead and said, what can I get out of this if I go and just use this?
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the time to film that talking part and all of that and everything. And it just got to the point where the rest of the video was ready. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to post it. I'm just going to put the video up and I'm just going to move on to the next one. And I don't know if that was the right call to make or not, but I want to make videos that show off the trips that I go on, the photos that I take, and they don't take themselves too seriously, but can kind of push the message of, I think you should be using old gear instead of buying new stuff because it is
Yeah.
still totally capable and you can get yourself a real bargain. So, tangent there, but yeah, working on a little road trip video from the Netherlands to France, three
Hmm.
locations, three possible videos, or one long video. I'm not sure yet. I haven't started it yet, but I think I've posted all my photos already, so they're all on Instagram. So there's no surprises there, but there is a lot of content to go along with it, and just more stuff like that. Really, that's what I want to do. Just keep filming, keep photographing, and just put stuff out there for me.
Yeah, you literally hit the nail on the head of how I do my videos. I don't take any of them too seriously. Like, I just want to show. I started. I said this in nearly every podcast, but I started this like channel just to like document me trying to learn how to take photos.
Hmm.
Like when I started it, I'd had a camera for 4 months and I'd barely learned how to use the camera, let alone take a good photo. I still
Hmm.
don't think I know exactly how to take a good photo, but I was like, it's more fun to bring some people along the way and show them that like just going out and taking photos can just be fun. You
Yeah.
don't always have to have this like big end goal or be going out for this specific shot. Like
No.
you can just go out with cameras and get better by just having fun with that. And
Yeah.
I just happened to fall into loving old cameras along the way.
Hmm.
And so now it's even more fun because I'm like, hey, you're not what if someone subscribed to me, they're not watching me take all these photos that they might be like, oh, that's really good, but he's shooting it on an 1,100-pound body with like a 500-pound lens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I just did this video on that GX100 and it cost me £110 on eBay. And it's just
Yep.
like, I'm trying to make people aware that like, there isn't, you can't like gatekeep photography by like an entry price, that
Hmm.
like you can just go out and take photos and have fun
Yeah.
with like an actual proper camera and still have only spent like £100.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
it's
that's
just
true.
like,
I
it's too
think
much
as
fun.
well, sometimes just getting out in itself is the main part. There have been so
Mhm.
many times where I've put myself off going out or going somewhere to an event or going out and getting pictures just because either the weather hasn't been nice or I haven't felt like it. And I
Yeah.
can't help but feel like every time I've done that, I've missed something
Hmm.
because the amount of times I have then decided go out and do it, I've come back with something that I like or something that I can use or something to post, you know?
Yeah.
And it is all about definitely go out and do it. And like you say, you don't have to. People who say that, oh, I'm waiting to have this camera or get that camera or saving up for things, you don't need to do that. You can go out with anything. You can go out with your phone. You can go out, you know, get a cheap point and shoot or get, a disposable film camera and see what you can do with it. It's the possibilities are really endless when it comes to the gear that you can choose and use, I think. And when those limitations are in front of you and you get looking at the results that you got from it, I think that's more to talk about
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. 100%. And I fully agree. Like, I have tried my best this year to not say, when I'm like planning to go out and take photos. And that all came to a head when I went on that Bad Flashes photo walk.
Mm,
And I know you are incredibly jealous that you didn't get to go.
I
So
am.
I won't I
I
won't
was
talk too
hoping you
much
wouldn't
about
bring
it.
it up.
Yeah, I won't talk too much about it because I don't want to see you cry on camera. But I nearly didn't go. I woke up.
Hmm.
I'd had a later night than I'd planned to the night before. I was tired. I was a bit hungover. My anxiety was through the roof. I was just like, oh, I'm just not going to go. I wasn't going with anyone. So I was like, oh.
It's
And I just like,
scary.
yeah. And I forced myself to go. And now 3 people that have been on the podcast, I met through that. And
Okay. Well, there you go.
I learned so many things from so many people, and I got to have this really good conversation with Caleb and learn stuff from him. And like, I came home and I was like, I'm never not doing something again.
Yeah, that's
Like,
it. You've learnt your lesson.
I was in the worst headspace ever, and I
Hmm.
made myself go.
Hmm.
And I still had to get a taxi home. It cost me like 80 something pounds to get home because the trains failed. And I was in such a good mood. I was like, I don't care. That
Yeah.
could have cost me £200 and I would have still gone home like, okay, like
Yeah, no,
I've had
you
the
did the
best
right
day.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
And so when I say to you, hey, this date, London, you're not allowed to say no. You just have to
Okay.
say yes now. All right.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Perfect. And we'll check out all the coolest places and we'll video it and you'll get a nice long POV vid and we can do all the cool stuff. And then that means you get to post more and that's your goal. Problem solved. I'm here
Um,
solving all the problems. You're welcome.
You're an absolute hero.
Well, I just need to get myself a cape, I reckon.
Somebody's got to do it.
Someone does, and it's me. So I want to ask you a couple of quick fire questions I ask everyone. So is your brain ready?
Oh, probably not, but let's go.
Okay, here we go. If you had only one choice moving forwards, would you always shoot with primes or zoom lenses?
Primes.
Good answer. Do you prefer to shoot black and white or color?
Color. I do like
Okay,
black and white, but I don't do enough of it to warrant that as an answer. But yeah, color for me.
makes sense. Makes sense. Shoot at sunrise or shoot at golden hour?
Oh, golden hour.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. And if money was no option, what would your dream camera setup be?
The setup. I mean, I need at some point in my life, I need the GFX 100 RF.
Hmm.
Uh,
I
I
also
do.
need that at some point in my
That,
life. Yeah.
that needs to happen.
Can we
Where I'm
buy
going to get
one
that money
between
from?
us?
Maybe, yeah, we might have
We'll
to.
just share it. We'll have custody on different
I think
weekends.
at this point, this is the only way it's going to happen. It's a lot of money. And every video I see on that camera, I'm just like, God, I would love that. It's such a nice camera, and just the fact that yeah, it's got the fixed lens on it, but the uh, size of the images that you come from it, you can crop into all these different formats and
Yep.
everything. And it's just that's right up my street. I would love that. I don't think there's any better camera for that answer, and if anyone's got one, it's probably wrong.
That's my favorite ending to one of those. Every other person I've spoken to is like, I might be wrong. Maybe I'd prefer this. Maybe there's this. And you're like, you know what? Here's my answer. You don't like it? Suck it. All right. That's the answer I'm giving.
That's the
That's
answer. Yeah.
exactly what I want. I've just remembered a thing I wanted to mention to you earlier. You were saying that you want to get a new lens for the A1 and you're not 100% sure on like kind of what to go for. I
Yes.
think something that would be really cool to try out is the Viltrox 28mm 4.5, like the pancake fixed aperture.
Okay. Yeah.
It is tiny,
Hmm.
and I don't think it will stick out much more than like the grip on that camera. It is
No.
literally like this thick. It's ridiculous. And I think it would be really cool to see what you can get with it, knowing that like it will add another limitation because it is f4.5 all the time.
Hmm.
But it would make that camera like truly pocketable.
Okay. I like the sound of that. I'm going to need to have a look at that for me. My gripe with that is, I mean, I'm guessing it's manual focus.
No,
No, is it
autofocus.
not? Is it?
No.
Okay, all right, then sign me up.
And I think like brand new, the lens is like £92 or £98.
Really?
Yeah. You can pick
Okay,
them up
all
on
right.
MPB for like £70 half the time.
Okay, all right. I think I'm gonna have to look at a little Christmas present for myself then. I
Yeah, I
assumed that
mean,
it was manual focus, and that was
no,
one of the
no,
reasons
no,
I
no.
love this so much is because, manual focus is great, but when you're working on the back of a screen like that in daylight, you can't see what you're doing.
Yeah,
And autofocus comes to the rescue in this. It doesn't always hit every time, but it's better than what I would get manual. So yeah,
it's better
if
than
that's a
missing all the time.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So if that
Yeah,
is another option, then I will look into that happily.
perfect. Well, thank you very much for being a guest, sir.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I've never done this before, so I have major imposter syndrome, but it's been fun.
You have imposter syndrome. People keep saying they'll come on the podcast. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, it's been really good to have you. I'm enjoying, like, I've said this to everyone that I've had on so far, so don't get a big head, okay? But it's nice that like every person I have on is just very different. I know it's gonna be there'll be a time when I find someone that does a very similar thing and stuff like that, but like so far, even if people shoot in a similar genre and stuff like that, obviously everyone's eye for photography and details is so different.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun for me. Like, as I said, this is just a selfish thing. This is just an endeavor for me to just look at people's photos and talk about them. And I'm not even going to hide that. It's the best thing ever. But every person I've had on so far and people that I've still got lined up to shoot with, like, they just do different things every time. And so I've had nothing but a string of great guests so far. You have continued that run.
Thank you.
It'll be really awkward the first time I have to be like, well, I had a string of great guests.
Yeah. And now you've ruined it.
Ooh, I won't say it to them, but the next person, I'm like, cool. So you started the string of great guests again.
So this is season 2.
Yeah, we had a really bum note at the end. So yeah, thank you very much for being on, dude. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, so I am at jamietakes.photos. I only really post on Instagram and YouTube. So, I mean, you can probably find me elsewhere, but don't be disappointed if I'm not posting. Yeah, Instagram and YouTube are where to find me, Jamie Takes Photos.
Perfect. I will put all your details in the description, as I do with everyone. But yeah, as I say, thank you very much for being on, dude. And to everyone that's watched and listened, thank you very much. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.